So Michael, just tell us your story. It was 10 years ago, or probably quite a lot longer before that, that you were like, hey, I need to do something. I want to, I've got a business locally, and I want to kind of invest internationally, etc. Just talk us through your journey of like how you got to that mental decision that you wanted to do something.
Well, I did actually, I tried to do it by myself, but I mean, you actually said most of what I was going to say in your presentation, but I can only endorse what you said. I tried by doing myself. I actually went and saw a financial advisor in this country, and I just wanted more. So I actually found you through, you already mentioned Neil Peterson's magazine. You had an advert there, and I made contact. And then that's where it all started. But I did watch you for about a year because at the time, as you always know, as I didn't trust people at the time, so I was very scared. So I did talk to Kristen. I did make contact with her, and that's where we started with the connection between me and Wealth Migrate.
Tell me, Michael, why did you want to invest overseas? What were your reasons? And again, this is not based on any one country, because most people, no matter where they are trying to figure out how to do something out of it in another country, but it's actually very scary and very overwhelming.
100%. Well, I actually, the problem is I watch your webinars all the time. I'm always one of your participants watching you. And one of the things you do as a presentation is the value of the rand is just devalued radically since 1975. And I just wanted to diversify into something better than the rand. And at the time that I made contact with you, the United States was the opportunity.
And tell me, why did you choose to get on a plane and fly over? I mean, again, it wasn't just your time that it took. You had to invest money to even just come on the buyer's trip, etc. Why did you do it? What were you trying to achieve?
Well, again, as I said, I wanted to diversify from rands into a foreign currency, being anything dollar, pound, euro, whatever's available at the time. And then I ended up speaking to you. And you gave me that information at the time because I know you had done a trip to the United States, which you've already mentioned. And you had already done, you had flown all over the place and done a lot of investigation as to which states were the landlord friendly and which were tenant friendly. And you said to me at the time that the United States was definitely the opportunity, which is why I decided to come and book and come with you on a buyer's trip to have a look for myself, and also the other factors that I wanted to go along to make sure that I could trust you.
Yeah. 10 years ago, feels like a lifetime ago now, in terms of having to get on an airplane and fly over there and everything else. And, when you got on the ground and kind of you saw what was happening on the ground, and in many ways you could simplify it down to information and partners, what did you find there basically? What did you like about it?
Well, first of all, the number one reason, the first thing I found was the fact that I could trust you. You weren't taking me on a fly-by-night. You showed me exactly what was going on in the United States at the moment. Because, we went to 4 different cities at the time. And you showed us all the different opportunities at the time. And we actually also met all the accountants, the lawyers, the different people that were looking after the properties. And also the fact is that you were a team, and your team and you had gone across and done all the investigations. I didn't have to do anything. All I had to do was listen to you.
And tell me, in terms of, you started in residential, and then you evolved into commercial, and then you evolved into other countries as well. In terms of, if you look back over the last 10 years, what are the sort of the results? Because, one of the things I've always appreciated about you, and where most people don't have it, by the way, and ironically, it's why it's the very first thing on this sheet. What are your whys? Why do you want this? You know, because when someone gets clear on their whys, they're going to be far more committed to making it a reality. And I've got a gift that I'm going to share with everyone at the end. My point being is that you were very, very clear on your whys, you know, and why you wanted to achieve what you want to achieve. And now, how's it been for you over the last 10 years in terms of actually looking to achieve those results?
Yes, I have definitely achieved the results. I mean, the opportunities I had in 2013 when I came with you on the buyer's trip, it's now nearly 11 years that I've been associated with you. It's certainly paid dividends, there's no doubt about it. And my why was to have a passive income, being in a foreign currency, being in whatever is available at the time, and dollars that was available at the time when I invested. And when I actually bought in 2013, I changed the 9.1 Rand to $1. So you can see what's happened in the last 11 years that I've been associated with the Rand. And that was my goal, was to get a passive income in a foreign currency. And it didn't make any difference from where I was in the world. I had something that I could live on.
Yeah. And what do you think the consequences would have been if you hadn't have done it? You know, like, so I always find it fascinating, you know, those events we did, and I showed pictures there, you know, they were live events, we did webinars. And I mean, thousands of people attended those live events and webinars, and yet only a couple of hundred actually took action. What would have been your consequences for you, let's call it 10 years later, if you hadn't have done something?
Well, my drive was basically just to, I didn't believe in the Rand. Unfortunately, I still don't. And my drive was to find something. I always believed in property. I went on your website, I saw the opportunity from you, because at the time you were doing a lot in Australia. And that's why I ended up speaking to Kristen before I spoke to you. I always wanted to change my money. I had changed money, and I did have investments in the Channel Islands in pounds. But as you know, banks don't give you a huge return, and I wanted something better.
You know, I was actually going to sort of allude to that, because most people that I've met over the years, when they think diversification, they've set up a bank account on the Isle of Man or somewhere, and they're getting, you know, like, you know, 0.1% or whatever in basically no return. And you know, what other products or you know, had you tried anything to try diversify before that? Basically, you know, you mentioned you've gone to see a financial advisor or whatever. You know, most people have tried to do something. Like, what else had you tried? Like,
well, the financial advisor gave me advice, but everything was locally asked, and he was only looking at investments in this country. And as I keep alluding to, the fact is that the Rand, if you look in 2013, and it's now we're talking about 11 years later, at 9.1 to what we are now, it's just phenomenal what it's done. Well, how it's devalued and how I've gained by earning dollars.
yeah, just by the way, it's not only a South African thing. You know, as part of our mastermind now,
No.
we've got English members, we've got German members, we've got Italian members, Australia, New Zealand. Because I think a lot of people realize that, like, to have all your eggs in one basket is a risky strategy. Full stop. You know, I mean, you're not only in America, you're also in England. You're currently moving the family to England. I mean, talk us through the feeling of what I like to refer to as a global citizen. So that's where someone can make a decision and say, hey, I want to live here, or you know, whatever. And both your assets plus your income allow you to make those decisions. But I mean, talk us through that, because you're now in a place to be able to make those decisions, you know?
Well, the properties that I purchased in 2013 in America is definitely appreciated in value. And they gave me a passive income. And I've always said, capital gain to me was always a bonus. It wasn't part and parcel of my goal of actually investing, because I was looking for the passive income, not the capital gain. I have invested with you in the United Kingdom. I'm earning, but it's obviously in dollars. So that has given me an income as well. So it's wonderful to be able to go to the United Kingdom, go and get a passive income into your bank account monthly, and being able to do what you want.
Yeah, and I mean, in your case, I always remember you were so clear about your daughters, and obviously they've grown up over the last 10 years, but you now got the ability to provide them the opportunities that you wanted. And that's what I always talk about when it comes to freedom of choice, because that, in my opinion, that's a lot more tangible than money. Like, it gives me goosebumps talking about it, because, you know, they're in their early 20s now, you know, mid 20s, whatever. But because you made decisions 10, 11 years ago, you've got the ability to give them the ability to make decisions, etc. And I mean, just talk to us about that feeling as a parent.
Well, that feeling as a parent is probably the best possible place to be, you know, because that's what you want to do, is to give your children the best opportunity and be able to go anywhere in the world and do anything you like. And please don't let me, I'm not putting South Africa down. It's a fantastic place. I enjoy it, and you know, I was born here, so I had no reason to go. But I just see there's more opportunity in United Kingdom at the moment, and jobs are abundant in the United Kingdom. South Africa, unfortunately, doesn't have that ability.
No, completely. Tell me, my last question, just in terms of, you know, I always laugh with you because, you know, you and I had an arm wrestle as to, you know, how much money you were going to pay to come on that buyer's trip. And I do remember it was quite a funny thing, but in those days it was like 20,000 Rand, which is like $2,000. And I remember Michael going like, well, I can't afford, like, you know, to pay the 20,000 Rand. And I was like, this is, dude, we're going to buy houses. Like, I think we might have a serious mismatch here. But as we got to know each other over the years, you just said, look, like, I really don't trust you, and I wanted to limit my downside. What would you kind of, and again, you're not giving financial advice, but just from your personal experience, for those people that are sitting on the fence, you know, saying it sounds too good to be true, whatever, like, you know, you were there basically, and yet you took a leap of faith, albeit you did more due diligence and whatever, and I'm not disputing anyone shouldn't do that. But, you know, you went out and you got the right information, you got the right partners. You know, what would you advise to someone who's sitting here, you know, whatever, and not quite sure what to do next?
Well, procrastination is probably the worst possible thing you should have. Okay, because yes, you do sit on the fence, and you can sit like that for 10 years or whatever time period you choose. And but you have to take that step, right? And my problem is, as you know, is that we deliberated that amount of money that you wanted me to pay to go across to the United States, and I didn't know if I was going to lose the money, and I don't know if what you're going to show me was what I wanted and it was legitimate. I had no idea. So it was only that when I met you in Joburg and we got on the airplane, we went across and had a look, then obviously I believed you, man.
Well, Michael, to yourself, thanks very much for jumping on. I really, really appreciate it. To, you know, yourself and Lee have become good friends over the years, and it's really, I deeply, deeply appreciate you coming and sharing your experience. And why I appreciate you sharing it is, I call it real people, real stories. You know, and you know what a lot of people do is they'll put me on a pedestal, or they'll put Ray Dalio on a pedestal and go, oh, but it's easy for you, you can do it. So I started with nothing. I have no silver spoon from my dad. So, and let's talk to someone else that you know, and again, I'm going to say started with nothing, because in 2012, like, you hadn't started yet, like, you know, and yet 10 years later. And I just deeply appreciate you sharing that. And by the way, it hasn't gone well. Like, I know that some of the tenants didn't pay the rent sometimes, and you had a fire one time, whatever. So like, anyone that thinks that it's like hunky-dory and everything works, like, has never been an investor. It's that simple. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? But you know, again, if you've got a good partner on the ground, they'll help you fix the problems, you know. So, you know, please understand that there's no such thing as Michael sitting here and going, oh, it was perfect and nothing went wrong, because that's just not how it works. But I do like to resonate with your story so that others can go, well, if they can do it, like, I can do it. You know what I mean? And whether you want to do it with us or not, I actually don't care. But like, copy what you're hearing here. And I think the number one thing that differentiated you from so many other people is that you took action. You were running a busy company, but you took time out of that to plan for your future self, you and your family. And, you know, it's allowed you those choices 10 years plus later. So just well done, dude. You know, thank you for your time and congratulations.
Scott, all I can do is actually say thank you very much to Wealth Migrate for giving me the opportunity that I had in 2013. And I'm so glad that I followed through and did come with you to the United States and have a look at the opportunities. You spoke about the medical centers. I've been part of that journey as well. So yeah, I've done very well. But also Wealth Migrate, it's an incredible team that you've got. You know, every time you want information, it's ready to be available. You can phone anybody, they talk to you, they answer your emails. So, you know, you're a business that is actually available for anybody that invests and to get all the information that is required. And yeah, it's been wonderful that we've become friends. And to me, you being at the helm of the Wealth Migrate, it can only go from strength to strength.
Oh, well, thank you for the kind words. I deeply appreciate it. And yeah, I think just two questions here from everyone else. Taffy's asking whether you are related to Trevor Honeysett.
I am, yes.
And I know Taffy's in Durban as well. And Lynn's asking, what type of return on investments have you realized? So obviously it's a broad brush question, but what on average, basically?
Around about 11.5%, 12% in US dollars.
Yeah. And I think that's also broken down into probably roughly 6 to 8% in income and 4 to 5% in capital growth. Just, again, different investments differing.
Correct.
But yeah, just in terms of.
It's been a 10-year term, and as you said, there has been problems, but generally it's been reasonable. And it's been a lot better than what I would have got in the bank here in South Africa or in the bank in Channel Islands.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Michael. Wonderful to have you online. And yeah, I hope that everyone else has resonated with your story and taken away their own tidbits. If Michael can do it, then so can you. And it all starts by making a decision.
Well, if the people are sitting on the fence and they're procrastinating, believe me, you've got to take a stance and you just got to move ahead and do something about it. And you'll see the benefit in like I have in 11 years' time.
Yeah. Awesome, Michael. You're a star, mate. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Cheers, brother.